right, let's talk about how Apple shares are doing today and what the street thinks of it. Pull me up an Apple chart there. You can see the stock up a little bit under 1%, 704. Why not? The street loves this stock. It has done very well for them. We'll bring you now Scott Sutherland from Wedbush, one of the analysts who covers Apple. Scott, pretty high on the stock, huh? What do you make out of this morning, what you've seen?
You know, we've checked out a few lines already this morning, and we would say they're moderately longer than the lines we've seen on other iPhone launches so far. So we think that bodes very well, especially when you tie that in with the online sales being 2x what the 4S was a year ago. I think they're well on their way to having another record iPhone quarter this quarter and next quarter for like quarters a year ago.
Yeah. Now, do you think, I mean, I have to tell you honestly, I mean, I look at the iPhone 5, I look at the features on it. I haven't actually got my hands on one, but I've seen it. It doesn't seem like that much of an upgrade from the 4S. But look, we're showing some video right here. I mean, people around the world are waiting online for this thing. Is the iPhone 5 really that big of an upgrade over the iPhone 4S?
Well, we think the iPhone 5, and we've said this even before it came out, when we've heard about it having a 4G connectivity, being a faster phone, a larger screen size, that this is some of the things people wanted in the 4S, like 4G. They didn't get it. All the 4S had was speech, and that still sold 4 million phones in the opening weekend. This is a larger screen, faster phone, and thinner phone. So we think this is actually going to be a large upgrade cycle. This is what people want for phones. So for Apple, it's an upgrade from the 4S. It does match other phones out there, but I think it misses their ecosystem approach as well.
Yeah. Now, you guys have a pretty high price target on Apple shares. Here's the product. We all know what it is now. How do you see them? How do you see them faring against the competition? Because their competitors aren't standing still either.
You know, I think, what Apple is doing on a standalone device is pretty similar to the competition, but when you take it into account with the iTunes and the iCloud, being able to sync content very easily across devices, and Apple's market share, from the mobile phone market is still in the high single digits, smartphones around 20%. There is still a lot of growth that they can have out there. So there's room for them all to grow in the smartphone market over general feature phones. And I think Apple's ecosystem approach, not only the iPhone, but all their devices tied to the iCloud, is going to drive growth for the company and the stock.
Yeah. Now, we already pulled up a thing about your price target, so we know you're bullish. But where do you see the shares going in, say, the next 3 months and the next year?
If things unfold as we expect, a nice launch for the iPhone 5 this quarter, broader global launch to over 100 countries next quarter, a mini iPad, and possibly more on the Apple TV. We definitely see that price target being reached probably sooner than the 12-month price target that we have out there. We think it'd be reached probably in the March quarter because we think there's a lot of products in the pipeline, and that's going to drive upside to the numbers.
Wow, the March quarter, that is aggressive. This 700 level, not a lot of stocks get there, and it's kind of hard to stay there for some of them, but you don't see that with Apple.
Well, the 700 level or the $700 billion level, which would be close to that market cap, and marching towards a potential, people have talked about in the past, the $1 trillion level. No company's ever been there. Yeah, I mean, those are big numbers, and people have always talked the law of large numbers are going to hold Apple back, but they keep marching forward, and they've had a great run this year already.
Yeah, no, can't argue that point at all. Scott Sutherland, thank you very much.